Hey everybody, hope you're having a good week. It is the last degree of the Leo moon, at least for a Tuesday night where I am in the US in Atlanta, Eastern Standard Time. I don't know if it's Standard Time or Daylight Saving. I always forget. Anyway, moons. I was telling you I've talked to you more about that when we are under the influence of a Leo moon, and moon is all about emotions. We're talking about this Leo energy. We get satisfaction because the moon is how we get our emotional needs satisfied. And when the moon is in Leo, there's a little bit of a performer. It's a little bit like I want to get my swagger out there and I want people to notice me. So there is a little bit of a performer with this moon. It is a fire moon. So as we know with fire or fire moons or fire signs, they put the fire out there and they want to be noticed. They want to be witnessed in action. The high side of this moon, if you have it in your chart, and I'd love to know where your moon sign is, and if you don't know where it is, go to astro.com. You can put in your birth chart, date, time of birth, place of birth, and it'll give you all that. And I'd love to, the moon is a really big one. But when the moon is in the sign of Leo, it is like the sun. And I would even argue that sometimes if you have a Leo moon, you might even be a little bit more obnoxious than a Leo sun. Just kidding. But you might even have more of those characteristics because it's emotion, it's flair, it's drama. It's, but it's also exciting and childish and a little bit kind of, not childish, but childlike and playful. So the last couple of days, I think the nice thing about the energy has been, even though we had the Saturn square Uranus contact, and last week's new moon, guys, was kind of heavy. As it kind of is, as we're kind of moving into some new things. But what I always like about the Leo moon is it does tend to bring out a little bit of a playfulness with us, where we can kind of be like a kid again, we can be creative. There is just kind of this exuberance of energy. Now, at its worst, a Leo moon can get a little butt hurt because we are very aware that we're kind of on stage and we want attention. And when we don't get that attention, we'll take our ball away. So if you have a Leo moon, you probably are laughing because you're like, yeah, that's what I do sometimes. When I don't get that attention or I don't get recognized for my noble purpose. Because Leo is a very noble sign at its highest expression. It is like the sun that's shining out to the rest of the planets. Now, on the arrogant side, it looks at like everybody else around them as their subjects. And so, with that, there can be kind of a double-edged sword here going on. Leo moon. Now, the moon we're going to be going into next is the next sign of Virgo. Whereas the Leo moon is a little bit more extroverted. It's a little bit more conscious about who's watching me and am I getting attention? Am I getting recognition? A Virgo moon is not so extroverted. And so the next 2.5 days, again, remember it's 2.5 days that the moon is in a sign. When it's in the sign of Virgo, it's much more toned down, much more. Virgo is a sign of service. There is a need, the moon again is our needs, to serve others, to be a little bit more behind the scenes, to be humble. Virgo is a very humble sign. And to be of service to others. Like we really probably feel a need to be industrious, but the funny thing about Virgo is also we want to have some privacy as well. So there's a balance between being of service to others, but then also having that privacy. So just notice the moon, guys. It's something I've been telling people to follow more and more. Track the moon through the week. Look at kind of the calendar ahead, and there's a lot of good resources out there to see what sign the moon is in. And I think it's a great start for those of you who are just starting to learn astrology. And you will really see that you're not going crazy because your moods might be up and down or in different places every 2.5 days. And those of you who actually have your sun in Cancer placements, you get that because you do have the moon closely aligned with who you are and your energy. For the next 2.5 days, it's really going to be a more introverted energy, a more helpful energy, a more subdued energy, whereas the Leo moon is a little bit like exuberant and flashy and look at me and pay attention to me. This is less the case with the Virgo moon. And then it'll go into the Libra moon, and then it'll go into Scorpio moon through the zodiac. Just a little bit from my perspective, guys. I hope you're having a good week. The nice thing about the Leo moon, it gives us a little bit of a lift. The Virgo moon grounds us a little more, and so on through the zodiac. As I always say, be kind to yourself, be kind to others as we go through all these cycles and changes and growth. Give yourself time to take things one day at a time. I love you very much. Reach out with any questions you might have. I'd love to know from you guys what you want to hear more about. Like, what are you curious about? And is Dave talking about it? And if I'm not, I'd love to do more posts about that. So please let me know about that so I can start working that into my routine as I'm doing kind of with the moon signs. Is there something else you'd like to know about? I know a lot about astrology, as you guys know, so I'd love to share that knowledge with you so you can be more empowered. Have a great rest of the week, guys. We'll talk to you later. See ya.